Hello, my name is Michael Melfi with Taylor English and also the Taylor English General Counsel Group. In this video, we're going to be comparing corporations to limited liability companies, otherwise known as an LLC. I'd like to compare and contrast those. We'll talk about the pros and cons of why to use them and when to use them. Also, we should touch base on why it's important to speak with a professional such as a lawyer when setting up your entity and weighing the various factors that go into that. So you may have stumbled upon this video because you're searching for how to set up a business or entity formation or something of those sorts. And you may have even taken the time to look at the video we created about LLCs or what we created about corporations. And I wanted to take a few minutes just to compare and contrast the two entities and really talk through that. And when you think about it, at the end of the day, you need to set up an entity because you have a business, or you have a business idea, or you have a product you want to sell, or a service you want to sell, or an asset you want to protect. So you're going to set up an entity. You're going to create that entity. But what type of entity should you create? Again, we got a great video. Check that out. We talk about all the importance of an LLC and a limited liability company. We also have a great video that talks about corporations. Both serve their purpose. They're both great. At the end of the day, why you choose one really depends on a few things. What is the purpose of your business? Number one. Number two, how many owners are you going to have, or what ownership structure are you looking to create? Number three, are you going to be taking an investment? If so, what does that investment look like, or what type of investment is that going to be? And the last part is, what is the tax considerations that you have around your business or you want to plan for? So what is the tax planning? And while there's a whole slew of other questions I can ask around ownership structure and what happens in a dispute, what happens in death and disability or divorce, and all these questions that I can ask you that are important, understanding the core structure is an important step in getting this set up. And then what you want is a solid legal professional who can help guide you the rest of the way and take you down that path. And so when you think about that, when you're comparing an LLC to a corporation, an LLC is a limited liability company. A corporation is a corporation. When you think about those, I'm going to give you some names so you can kind of talk the lingo. With an LLC, you have members. With a corporation, you have shareholders. Members typically own units or membership interest. Corporations typically own stock or shares. So when you think about that, when you're talking, they're same structure, there's an entity that holds some asset that then is owned by someone. Who those owners are depends on the structure. How those owners are taxed depends on the structure. How those owners can vote depend on the structure. How the buy-sell is handled, the tag-along rights is handled, the drag-along rights are handled, all those things, your parties sound like blah, 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 blah. All that stuff is handled by the structure. So making sure you understand that is an important piece of this. Making sure you understand that purpose helps define what entity to use, and there'd be a difference between the two. And so a lot of times you'll see, hey, I went this way or went this way. Was that right or wrong? There isn't a right or wrong. I've had LLCs that go down a path and stay that way strategically for tax reasons for the first 6, 12, 24 months, and then convert to an LLC. There's other people say, well, can I take my corporation and convert it back to an LLC? You're going to have to watch our video we create just on that to learn more about conversions, but you can convert your entity. You're not stuck with this forever. Now, you can't bounce back and forth every tax year, but you can make a change as your business grows, as your business transforms. And there's strategic reasons why you would do that. You know, when you think about those two entities, one LLC, it's typically more closely held. It's a little looser in what you can do. What needs to be done is more flexible. Think about it as flexible. With a corporation, a little more rigid. Policies and procedures in place. Why is that important? Corporations typically have third parties or other key stakeholders that are influencing it. A board, shareholders. It could be that corporation is going to be having investors one day. Well, if I'm an outside person looking in, I want to know there's some security. I want to know there's some accountability. I want to know there's some integrity. So I want a corporate structure. I want an entity that has the corporate formation that allows for that. That may not be as important if you got into business with your college roommate, or you got into business with your family member or your spouse or your best friend. It's a closely held business. You're going to sit around over lunch or dinner or coffee and make business decisions. And the only thing that's impacted are the two of you. And as long as the two of you can agree upon it and memorialize it, that business can operate. Now, I don't recommend you operate like that, but that's fine. In a corporation, it's much more formalities, and there's a lot more people that you're going to be accounting to. Now, I don't want you to scare that away. There's benefits to that. Investors want to see that. If you want to IPO one day, they want to see that. There are reasons to do that. The last part, as you can imagine, is the cost associated with it. The cost of running an LLC is going to be less than a corporation just because there's less moving parts. This was a machine or if it was an engine, the less moving parts in theory should run less expensively. You're going to have more going on. There's more involvement. There's going to be more expenses associated between those two entities. The last part you want to think about is the deal you're getting into. There's different reasons to do different structures depending on the type of deal. And you should definitely consult with your professional, not just on a tax level, but on a legal level to be able to discuss that. So when you're thinking about an entity, when's the right time to do it? Today, yesterday, get it set up. What is the right type? That's where the key is, to make sure you take the time to really understand that, to talk with a professional, to make sure you work through that, to make sure you're getting all your questions answered so that they can help guide you, not just in what is the right structure, but then the documents that govern those structures are correct, right? If it's an LLC, you're running an operating agreement. If it's a corporation, you have bylaws, you have a shareholder agreement, you may have a voting agreement. There's different things that could be in place. You may have buy-sell agreements. You may have some type of resolution or written consents that fall on top of that. But these are all the types of things you want to begin to understand or have a professional that can guide you through that process. So with that, take the time to understand what entity works best for you, your business, your products, and your services. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact a professional such as the amazing team at Taylor English, whether it be our emerging companies group or our general counsel group, to be able to assist you in analyzing and making these proper choices for you and your business in your future. I want to thank you again for taking the time to watch this video and look forward to working with you in the future.